Hello and welcome to my first FPL draft of the season. Now this is 2 weeks late, I'm not going to lie, but I've been busy, I've been away, which is a bit frustrating. I didn't have time to get it out before I went away. So what I decided to do is try and avoid FPL for a couple of weeks because I didn't want to keep changing my team by the time I get back, and everything I've just done is going to be irrelevant. But I've done my first team, I'll do another team probably within the next week hopefully. This team I've gone for, it's a 4-4-2 formation. 100 mil spent completely, nothing left in the bank. Gone all out on this one. Gone for obviously slightly different. I know a lot of people looking at maybe 3-5-2 because the midfielders do look stacked this season. But I've gone for 4 decent midfielders. Obviously, you can see my bench already. But we'll go through them in a minute. We'll go on goalkeepers and then we'll look at that bench because obviously there is one highlight there. So I've gone for Areola in goal at West Ham. Now, if he starts, that's pretty decent to be fair. Obviously, we don't know what's going on with Fabianski. It looks like Areola could start for West Ham this season. First game of the season looks great for West Ham, Bournemouth away. And if he does start, 4 million goalkeeper, could be the next Danny Ward for all we know. Terrible, but great at the same time. First game's Bournemouth away, that's a great fixture for West Ham, but then after that, not so great. Obviously, you got Chelsea, Brighton, then it's Luton away. Now, if Luton ain't ready yet for the start of the season, it could be Chelsea, Brighton, Man City, Liverpool. Not great at all. So realistically, I want a decent second goalkeeper as well. I've got Luke Steele in goal. Now, obviously, Brighton bought another goalkeeper, Flecken. He's exactly the same price at 4.5. So it doesn't really matter. I could swap either one of them. I went for Luke Steele here just because I like what he did at the end of last season. I'm kind of hoping, obviously, the manager sticks with him and then plays Flecken in Europa League. But I doubt it. He's going to want the goalkeeper he's brought in to start, so that will probably change. That would be an easy change anyway, because it's the same price. A 4.5 million goalkeeper is pretty decent as well. It's going to start, especially the Brighton one, because their first 3 fixtures, Luton, Wolves, and West Ham, is pretty nice start for obviously Brighton. So that looks decent as well. Now with my bench, Trent Alexander-Arnold's on there. Now put him on the bench. So obviously these other 4 defenders must be great. But it was a toss-up between this one and my last defender, which we'll get into later. Chelsea away is a tough fixture, but after that it's great. We don't know where Trent's going to play. A lot of talk is going to be midfield, which is great, but if it's CDM, is it that great? But then you got McAllister in that team, so will he play there and Trent go back to right wing back? We'll have to see. But their first game, Chelsea away, it is a tough game to be fair. I know Chelsea were bad last season, but that's not going to happen again surely. Then after that, obviously, it's a pretty decent run for Liverpool. We've got Bournemouth, yes, Newcastle's tough, Villa's tough. Well, actually, tell a lie, it's not the easiest fixtures. But obviously, it's an interesting one, Trent. He's gone up in price and everybody wants him. And that is a slight issue as well, I've noticed. He's 32% owned, which is a bit of a put-off, really. So I'm not 100% sure he will be my team for game week 1, thinking about it. Because he's so expensive. The fixtures aren't exactly the best. There was a lot of talk of him playing midfielder, but Liverpool have been buying, should I say, midfielders. So whether he does or not play there is another thing. He has played a couple of times there, but we'll see. I've got Connor Coventry. That's right. Connor Coventry in my midfield, 4.5. He's literally at 4.5 left midfield. Just use him. He'll probably be gone by the transfer window. Probably get loaned out somewhere, but he's there for now. He's not going to get used. He's just there. And then my last one, obviously there, it's Chris Woods I've gone for. A bit of a gamble, that one. Like I said, I didn't have much money in my last 2 subs, so I went for Chris Woods. I decided to go for a 5 million. I could have gone cheaper, but I went for a 5 million striker. It's an interesting one because Chris Woods, he's there permanently in that Forest. He got injured at the end of last season, so I don't know if he will even start. But he just looked interesting to me. Now, first game, nightmare. Second game, Sheffield United, that could be decent. And obviously, Brennan Johnson might be leaving, whether it goes to Brentford or Villa. Obviously, they've been sniffing around him. So there could be a position open up top. So Chris Woods could play there. So it could be a good shout. He's less than obviously 1% owned, which I can understand now. He did score goals at Burnley. Maybe not so much at Newcastle. But he did score goals at Burnley. So it could be a decent shout if he starts. It's a bit of a gamble, but for sure Trent will start. So at least I'll have one defender, or not one defender, one sub that we're playing, so just in case anything was to happen. But yeah, that is my bench. So this is my defence then. So back 4, obviously, because bench gives that away. Now, in terms of attacking sense, it doesn't look great, really, does it? I feel like Ben Chilwell's probably the only one there that will get any returns, but clean sheet wise, that looks solid. So we'll talk about Ake first. I think he was Man City's best defender last season. I think he played most of their games. People will say John Stones, but he played more CDM role. As a defender, I'd say Nathan Ake. Now, when I did this, I was pretty confident he was going to start. Man City have since brought in players, which is a bit frustrating. So I'm not actually confident now that he will start. Cancelo's still not left either, which is a bit of a problem. Because that was also a headache. Imagine if Cancelo starts and smashes it. That would really mess with everyone's FPL teams. But yeah, not confident of Ake, which is a shame really, because I want a Man City defender because they've got Newcastle as their only tough fixture, I'd say. Apart from Newcastle, Burnley, Sheffield, Fulham, West Ham, Forest, Wolves. I mean, that is a pretty decent start to the season, and I really fancy a defender there. So that's one thing I'm looking at, having a Man City defender. I did have an eye on Rico Lewis at 4.5 million, but then Man City signed that Croatian guy for like 50 million or whatever it was. Probably wrong there, the price, but either way, it's put me off going for him now, because I doubt he's going to get any game time now. William Saliba, in my opinion, Arsenal's best defender last season, I'd say. If he didn't get injured, I'd say the title race would have been a lot closer than it was. A lot of people going for Gabriel, which is understandable. He had a good season as well, but like I said, if Saliba didn't get injured, I think they would have had he would have more points for sure. And he definitely would have earned more points, I think, than Ben White. And he probably would have been priced at 5.5 as well. But that's not the case. He's only 5 million, and Arsenal's start of the season is great. Forest, Crystal Palace, Fulham, first 3 games. I can see 3 clean sheets straight away. That's why I want an Arsenal's defender as well. I've got Varane at Man United, which it might be a surprise because a lot of people, and I did fancy going for him, but Luke Shaw, 5.5 million, so he's only 0.5 more. So I could easily just downgrade Chris Woods and get in Luke Shaw, but I fancied Varane. I want to United centre half. Now, I don't know what to feel about him, to be honest, because Man United, I'm not 100% certain on half the time anyway, but they got Wolves' first game of the season, and I want a Man United defender for Wolves. Spurs will be interesting. Will Harry Kane go or stay? Will he be there for that game? We don't know. If Harry Kane ain't there, I'm definitely want a Man United defender, because after that, Forest as well, that's a nice set of 3 fixtures for the start of the season for Man United. Tougher than after that's Arsenal and obviously Brighton, so I don't want 2 Man United players. I mean, Man United have brought a new goalkeeper, so they could be even more solid at the back. But yeah, for sure, if it's not going to be Varane, I'd probably lean towards Luke Shaw. And then finally, Ben Chilwell. Now, I really like Ben Chilwell. I like Reece James as well. It's a toss of a coin which one to go for. Same with who to start in my team, Ben Chilwell, or do you go Trent Alexander-Arnold? I had Trent, then I went for Chilwell, and then I went for Chilwell to start just because he's at home. And the rest of my team, I didn't fancy dropping. So it was really tight, but yeah, Chelsea can't be as bad as they were last season at all, surely. But after obviously Liverpool game, first game of the season, they've got West Ham, Luton, Forest, Bournemouth. That's a good start for Chelsea. So I want to get a defender in there because I think surely they can't be that bad this season. And I think Ben Chilwell will do well this season, providing he stays fit. But like I said, it's a toss of a coin whether to go for Ben Chilwell and Reece James. I'd love them both, but you can't count on Chelsea, and their fitness issues are terrible. So it's 50-50 there. But overall, I really like the look of that defence. So then on to my midfield now, and I'd just like to apologise for people who got OCD, but I didn't want a Chelsea player in my team, especially in midfield. But anyways, in midfield then, so Phil Foden up first. I mean, I could not have Phil Foden in, well, a Man City midfielder I wanted. Now, when I did this team, I wasn't sure Phil Foden would start, but Mahrez looked like he's out the door. He's going to Saudi Arabia. So for sure, I'm expecting 95% certain Phil Foden will start Premier League for Man City. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my own hat, but I'm pretty positive he's going to start. And like I said, the first 6 games for Man City looking great. And he's not exactly highly owned. I mean, he is 15% owned, but some of these other guys in here are more than double that. So if I get Phil Foden and he smashes it, I'm going to be buzzing. So he's definitely somebody I'm keeping a strong eye on. But also, you can have Jack Grealish about the same price. Could he do any better? He could do. It's a tough one there. Flip of a coin. I feel like a lot of these players are a flip of the coin. And that's where we go into Mitoma. First Brighton starting player. Obviously Phil Foden was saying is a flip of the coin. Matoma, flip of the coin. You go for Solly March. I love Matoma. He's what I was hoping Kagawa was when he went to Man United. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but Matoma's doing what I thought Kagawa would do. And he's just great. I love watching him. He's always got a shot on. He's always creative. He's great to watch. He's going to start for Brighton. And Brighton's first 3 fixtures, Luton, Wolves, West Ham. There's going to be goals there. He's going to smash it. That's why I'm leaning towards him instead of Solly March. But my only issue is he's 37.4% owned, which is a bit of a pain really, because I was hoping he'd be a bit low, well, a lot lower owned. And it makes the game a bit like, oh, I've got to think harder to find somebody else, which then if obviously that don't work, and I do expect Matoma to smash it, it will push me back. So, but Solly March wouldn't be a bad option as well. Saka, another guy who's highly owned. He's over 50% owned now, I think. 53% owned he is now. You can see why though. I mean, like I said before, Arsenal's fixtures look good. Saka on penalties. He smashed it last season. He's going to smash it again this season. Forest at home, great fixture. Palace, Fulham in disarray, great fixtures. So yeah, I'm confident Saka's going to do well this season. But obviously, you've got options. You can go for Odegaard, you can have Martinelli, whether he starts or not. Obviously, you got Havertz as well. Wouldn't go for him personally, but they've got options at Arsenal now. But for sure, Saka's their lead guy. He's the guy you're going to look at, and that's why he's in there for now. And then finally, Marcus Rashford. Now, I wasn't sure to go for him. I wasn't sure to go for him because I was looking at Bruno Fernandes, 0.5 difference. But the fact that Man United still haven't signed a striker is why I've got Rashford in. So Rashford would just be more up front. Because obviously, Martial's going to get injured. Whether it be 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even in the pre-match warm-up, he's going to get injured at some point. So with him gone, it's going to be Rashford up front. And I'm expecting him to have another good season, to be fair. And it's that Wolves fixture. I've got a feeling Wolves going to be bottom of the league this season. I don't know why. I think the manager's going to leave as soon as the transfer window's done because he's going to realise he's got nothing. And he's just going to walk out and Wolves going to be pooped, basically. And I do think Rashford will counter it, or smash them even, and score hopefully 3 goals. That's why I'm looking at Rashford instead of Bruno. But obviously Bruno's got penalties, which is, again, a headache right there. That's another flip of the coin. But yeah, for now it's Rashford. I do like the look of that midfield though for now. But it could easily change. Because a lot of these players, like I said, you can go for somebody else in the team. It's pretty much the same price. And they could smash it instead, and you could be completely wrong with this team. Finally, then my strikers, 2 up front. Obviously, Erling Haaland was going to be up there, weren't he? He's 86% owned now, though, which is a bit of a pain. So I'm kind of open. Game week 1 against Burnley, 20 minutes in after scoring 2 goals, he gets a serious injury and he's out for the season. Because everyone's going to go mad, especially if Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich before then as well. Because who are you going to go for then? It will mess up everybody else's teams. Everyone's going to have no idea what to do. It will get rid of the template, I'm telling you now. And that will be the best thing for the game if Haaland goes off and Kane goes to Bayern Munich. Because then you're not going to have a star striker. You're not going to have a premium striker. So, for sure, you have to have Haaland in your team. 36 goals last season. I'm pretty confident if he doesn't get this injury I'm hoping for, he'll get 30 plus goals again. So, I can't exactly just ignore him. Yeah, I would have liked Harry Kane in my team, but you just can't fit it in. It don't work out. And if he does go to Bayern Munich, there's just no point. So yeah, for sure, I've got Erling Haaland, Burnley away. This could be a tough game, or he could score 5 goals, if I'm being honest. You just don't know how good Burnley are going to be. I have a feeling Man City will destroy them. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my feeling. And then my second striker, same as last season really. This is the same 2 that I had at game week 1 last season. Gabriel Jesus. Now, he was a bit disappointed when it came to scoring goals last season. I thought he could score more, but he did decent considering he got injuries as well. 11 goals and 7 assists is pretty decent. Forest first game of season, I think he can do decent there. It's at home as well. And then obviously Palace and Fulham. Now, with Havertz in the team, I ain't got a clue where he's going to play. Some Arsenal fans say he's doing the midfield role for Xhaka. I'll have to see game week 1, but if he doesn't start, Jesus starts and he's on the bench, and after 6 minutes he replaces him, that would be a concern if I go with Jesus in goal. Jesus up front. So that's my only issue with him. Apart from that, I like the start. I'm going mad here. I like the fixtures for Arsenal at the start of the season. That's why I fancy him. But again, he's 30+% owned. Not as much as it was last season, but he's still well in. But I do think he's going to do well, to be fair. He's the next best thing if there's no Kane and Haaland in the league. So that's why I've got Jesus. I like the look of him. If he does like he did last season, I think I'll be happy with that. So yeah, that's my team. So when it comes to captaincy, obviously, Erling Haaland is my captain. And then I'd have a vice captain of Saka. Now, if this was my team for game week 1, I could easily change the captaincy and actually gamble and go for Saka at Forest. Forest at home or Burnley away. The fact that it's away, you never know. Turf Moor, you know how good they used to be there. And whereas Arsenal, they're at the Emirates, they could dominate against Forest. So it's going to be an interesting one where what happens there. But I fancy maybe over Saka. But if I did, and let's say Haaland goes and gets 3 goals, I just hate the game. I just hate life. Got a massive red arrow there. But anyway, that's my team. I do hope you like this video. I hope you like my team. If you didn't like my team, just comment you didn't like it and tell me which players I should have gone for instead. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.